What's up, YouTube? I'm Joe Lee, Sonic J Lee here on YouTube, longtime car enthusiast, first car video. So just a little bit about me, longtime car enthusiast, as I said. So in the garage right now, I have a 2021 Toyota Supra and a 2013 Panamera GTS. So the Panamera is what we're going to be working on today. Going to be changing the air oil separator. So that's a common maintenance item on the Panamera. As they get older, the diaphragm breaks and it causes some buildup of pressure in the crankcase. So that's what we're going to be changing today. Didn't see many videos on YouTube about it. So hopefully this will be helpful for some of you. All right, so I ordered a new air oil separator from partsgeek.com. I don't know if you can see that part number there, but it's a genuine Porsche part. Pretty impressed. Ordered this thing and received it in 2 days, even though Parts Geek said it'd be 2 weeks before I receive it. And I just paid standard shipping. So the air oil separator is this part right here. So this will apply to not just the first gen Panamera, but also the Cayenne with the 4.8 liter V8. So this procedure here should apply to both models. Alright, so tools we'll need, T30 Torx. So I have two variants here, one for a socket and one that's on an Allen key type wrench. And another is an E10, so a female Torx that we're going to be using to take off the bolts on the AOS and to put the new one on. So first thing we're going to do with the T30 is to loosen up or to take off the bolts that are holding this cover in. That's going to have to come off. So clearance is going to be a little bit tight. I know for spark plug removal, this stuff is going to have to come off. So I think for the sake of this job, with a tool like this, which is relatively short, we should get enough access here, which we do, to get these screws off without having to remove some of these ancillary parts. And since we don't need to access what's behind here right now, you can kind of just leave that on there. So once again, we're just trying to take this cover off. And I plan to do spark plugs in a few months, so I plan to record that process as well. I want to change the spark plugs and the coil packs. Alright, so got all these loose. Let's take this off and come right back. Alright, got the bolts off, with those screws off, so now just lift up here towards the front of the cover, and then at the back of the cover, pull up as well. And we'll take this cover off and set it aside. Alright, so there are 4 screws here for the AOS. And we'll also have to undo these tubes here. So let's just get those off. You just squeeze the parts that have the ridges on there. So that's off. And I'm getting an extension for my E10. And we'll work those off. And we'll need the extension for the back one there. They're all loose, and I'll just loosen them all by taking them off by hand here. All right, got the screws off, or at least out. Gonna hit this with some compressed air just to get any dirt that's around the opening there of the valve cover off. And this wire here is going around the AOS, so I'm gonna take that off. This coil pack plug. All right, so that's out of the way. And I'm gonna take the AOS out, and it's out. So this is the old AOS. So what I'm gonna do is, before I put the new one on, I'm gonna clean that edge there with a paper towel to get rid of some of the dirt down there, without getting stuff into the valve cover. So I realize it kind of blows out anyway. All right, so wipe away from the hole. All right, so we got the new AOS. Just kind of compare, make sure they look the same. The new one on my left hand, the old one on my right hand. Looking at part numbers: 948, 107, 135, 21 for the old one, and 22 for the new one. So hoping that's just a generation change and there's no issue with compatibility, but they look the same. All right. So the new one on. All right, got the new AOS in. Just get these screws on that secure it to the valve cover. I always like to thread them first by hand before I tighten any of them. Screws weren't very tight before. Unfortunately, I could not find the exact torque specs, so I'm going to do the best I can to tighten them evenly without over tightening. Again, don't want to over tighten. We're dealing with plastic here, which will crack if we over tighten. All right, so just snug. Good. Feel about even to me. So I'm going to plug the coil pack back in. Alright, all over here is make sure everything else is snug, which it is. Plug this connector back in, this hose in the back that goes over the valve cover for the intake manifold. One in the front. Alright, got that back in. Alright, so now I'm going to just start it up before I put the cover back on, just make sure everything's okay here. So open up the garage. Alright, working well. No issues, no error lights, or warning lights on the dash. So last step, put the cover back on. And the 4 screws. That's it. So I think you guys know how to put the screws back on. It's the reverse of removal. Alright, well I hope some of you found this video helpful. It's pretty easy swap out here of the AOS on the 4.8 liter V8. This is a 2013 Panamera GTS, but again these instructions apply to the Cayenne and the Panamera with the 4.8 liter V8. Alright, thanks everyone. Hope you found this helpful. Bye.